Israel says diplomacy is the last chance. Iran says America has already failed. But behind the ceasefire, both sides are openly preparing for another war. Now, as threats over missiles, proxies, and nuclear red lines intensify, one question is growing louder. Is the Middle East heading back to the brink? Israel says diplomacy with Iran is running out of time. Tehran says America and Israel have already failed militarily. A fragile diplomatic window has opened between Iran, the United States, and Israel, but warnings from both sides suggest the possibility of renewed conflict remains very real. Israel's ambassador to Australia has now stated that military action against Iran could resume if ongoing negotiations fail to eliminate what Israel describes as existential threats posed by Tehran's nuclear and missile programs. In an exclusive interview with Iran International, Israeli Ambassador Hillel Neumann said, "Israel supports diplomacy between Tehran and Washington only if the talks achieve specific strategic objectives."
We're in favour of talks as long as they attain the objectives. We cannot compromise on the objectives. As I said, the objectives are removal of the nuclear capability, zero enrichment, zero enriched uranium in Iran. Also, the fact of the ballistic missiles and stopping their support of the proxies, which cause unrest in the entire Middle East.
Neumann also said Israel demands limits on Iran's ballistic missile program and an end to Tehran's support for armed proxy groups operating across the Middle East. He warned that if negotiations fail to achieve those goals, Israel could return to military operations against Iran.
If we can attain it through negotiations and diplomatic discussions, fine. If not, we might have to go back to the military campaign in order to attain the objectives. We're actually now in a kind of a ceasefire which we have declared and accepted because we're giving a good opportunity in good faith for the discussions. We have trust, we have confidence in President Trump. We work together closely. There's coordination.
The comments come as negotiations continue between Tehran and Washington over a possible agreement aimed at ending the current confrontation. However, major disagreements reportedly remain over Iran's enriched uranium stockpile, sanctions relief, frozen Iranian assets, and security in the Strait of Hormuz. Neumann also praised coordination between Israel and US President Donald Trump's administration, describing relations between Washington and Jerusalem as unprecedented. At the same time, Israel signaled that any long-term arrangement involving Lebanon would depend on Hezbollah withdrawing north of the Litani River and ending rocket attacks against Israel. Meanwhile, Iranian officials are also warning against further confrontation while insisting the country remains fully prepared for war. Mohammad Akbarzadeh, Deputy Political Chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy, said renewed conflict with the United States was unlikely.
The possibility of war is low because of the enemy's weakness. The armed forces are lying in wait with full magazines. Do not doubt that we will turn the area from Chabahar to Mashhad into a graveyard for aggressors.
Iran's intelligence ministry also issued a lengthy warning accusing the United States and Israel of shifting toward what it called a hidden intelligence security war after failing to achieve their objectives militarily. According to the ministry, hostile powers are now increasing pressure through economic warfare, cyber attacks, sabotage operations, terrorism, and psychological operations designed to destabilize the Islamic Republic.
The enemy, defeated in military war, is seeking to produce achievements for itself, even through soft war. The enemies openly pursued the overthrow and partition of Iran during the recent war, but failed to realize those goals through military assaults.
The ministry warned that foreign-backed groups were attempting to inflame ethnic and religious tensions, while also accusing outlets, including BBC Persian, Voice of America, and Iran International, of supporting hostile operations against Iran. The latest statements underline how fragile the current ceasefire remains, with both Israel and Iran continuing to prepare for the possibility of another confrontation, even as diplomatic negotiations continue behind the scenes. As millions of Muslims gather for the Hajj pilgrimage, Iran's supreme leader is issuing one of his strongest warnings yet against the United States and Israel. In a series of explosive statements, Mojtaba Khamenei declared that the Middle East would no longer serve as a safe zone for American military bases, while also predicting what he described as the eventual collapse of Israel. The remarks are now intensifying fears of a deeper confrontation across an already volatile region. In a message posted Tuesday on his official Farsi language X account, Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei said countries across the Middle East would no longer host American military influence without consequences. The statement was issued during the annual Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca, one of the holiest events in Islam and a religious obligation for Muslims around the world.
The hand of time does not turn back, and the nations and lands of the region will no longer serve as shields for American bases. America will no longer have a safe haven for mischief and the establishment of military bases in the region.
The warning directly targets the extensive American military presence maintained through United States Central Command, or CENTCOM. While headquartered in Florida, CENTCOM operates permanent military facilities across several Middle Eastern countries, including Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. Khamenei also sharply escalated rhetoric against Israel.
The shaky Zionist regime and the cancerous tumour of Israel have also drawn near to the final stages of their cursed demise, and by the grace of God, and in accordance with the decisive and prescient statement of the supremely dignified leader 10 years ago, it shall not see 25 years hence from that date, God willing.
Approximately a decade ago, Ali Khamenei predicted that Israel would cease to exist within 25 years. Mojtaba Khamenei now suggested that the timeline had entered its final phase. At the same time, the Iranian leader praised Hezbollah in Lebanon, describing the Iran-backed group as one of the key forces confronting both Israel and the United States in the region. Khamenei stated that fighters from what he called the resistance front, particularly Hezbollah, had achieved major victories against what he described as the two fully armed terrorist American Zionist militaries. He also claimed Iran itself had succeeded in weakening Israel during what he referred to as Operation Roaring Lion. According to Khamenei, Iran had delivered what he described as a harsh slap to the aggressor America and had prevented efforts aimed at forcing Iran into surrender. The Iranian leader also called on Islamic countries to strengthen cooperation and unity in order to confront what he described as growing threats facing the Muslim world. Khamenei further claimed that slogans including "Death to America" and "Death to Israel" were becoming increasingly widespread across the Islamic world, especially among younger generations. The same slogans have long appeared on banners used by the Iran-backed Houthi movement in Yemen. The statements come at a time of heightened regional tension involving Iran, Israel, and the United States, with conflicts continuing across Gaza, Lebanon, the Red Sea, and Gulf waters.